Marcus Rashford is on the verge of extending his contract at Manchester United. Yes, people, welcome back to another transfer news video. As always, if you love being kept up to date with football transfer news daily, this is the place for you. Make sure you subscribe down below. We're up to 3,000 subscribers, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments regarding this. Let's get straight into the tweet by Fabrizio Romano outlining this. Exclusive: Manchester United are on the verge of reaching an agreement with Marcus Rashford over a new long-term deal. He's set to accept the proposal. Negotiations at final stages. Rashford is very happy with Erik ten Hag. Final details to be sorted. Here we go soon. And this is absolutely massive news for Manchester United. Because I think alongside Casemiro and to an extent Varane and Lisandro Martinez before their injuries, Rashford was United's best player last season. Absolutely fantastic. He hit a purple patch just after the World Cup where genuinely he was one of the most informed players in the world. He was scoring every game practically, carrying United through matches. And for a long time, they were mounting a title charge. Up until about February, end of January, United were in a solid title charge along with Arsenal and of course Man City. So for them to re-sign Rashford to a new long-term deal is a massive positive step forward for the football club. Let's make no mistake about it. Manchester United are the biggest club in England. They should be able to re-sign these top players easily, man. Rashford shouldn't be sitting there going, oh, I want to move on to a bigger and better club. There's no bigger and better than Manchester United. Let's be honest about it. I know right now they've been displaced by teams like Man City, who are never going to be a bigger club than Manchester United, but are performing better than Man United and are moving like a bigger club at times. I think even Manchester United fans would admit that. There's a lot of turmoil surrounding Man United with the whole glazers potentially leaving, the Qataris taking over. So Jim Ratcliffe, I know, was involved at one point. It seems as though that one's going to eke out and edge out. Glazers apparently will sell to the Qataris. That has been the reports. Nothing's been confirmed yet, of course. But if that is to do so, it's going to take place over a longer time period. It's not going to be an instant transition of owners. So in the meantime, Man United still go get deals done over the line. I genuinely believe that if United smash this summer transfer window, as they genuinely can, they can be the second title challengers to Man City next season, overtaking Arsenal. I genuinely believe that. And those of you that are new around here might not know this, but I'm an Arsenal fan saying this as well. I'm an Arsenal fan genuinely saying that. Because Man United, I see a real structure of a team there, a real solid team. Look, I do think there's improvements that can be made. I think that's the case for most clubs in Europe, let's be honest about it. But the thing with Man United is, right, under Erik ten Hag, there's a real good system there. And there's real good togetherness. And I think for the first time ever since Alex Ferguson's left, definitely I've seen, right? Because you've had a lot of managers like David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, you've had Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralf Rangnick, etc. But none of those managers really embodied Manchester United for me. Nothing in terms of embodying the DNA of the club, all the way down to the performances on the pitch. With Erik ten Hag, right, although he's not won the Premier League or Champions League or anything to that extent, I do see a man that can really embody what Man United stands for and their real DNA and values. Look at the way he dealt with the Cristiano Ronaldo situation. Ronaldo's a club legend, right? He is. He's one of the greatest football players of all time. And he dealt with such assurance and such panache. Didn't once violate Ronaldo, didn't once overstep his boundaries, just held himself with class and said, look, we don't like the way Ronaldo conducts himself, and they moved on from him. I mean, Arteta got all the plaudits for the way he dealt with Aubameyang, but the step up from Aubameyang to dealing with Ronaldo is different kettle of fish. I mean, Aubameyang's a good player for Arsenal and won us the FA Cup, but Ronaldo's a club legend for Manchester United and one of the greatest football players of all time. I think Erik ten Hag dealt with that situation amazingly. After he went through that situation, that's when I knew United got a real top manager in Erik ten Hag. And he went through some tricky patches as well. Let's not forget that his first two games against Brentford and Brighton, right? Well, Brighton first. Real tough matches. I mean, against Brentford especially, they got absolutely destroyed in that first half, but really bounced back really well from that position. And look, he's managed to get Champions League football. He's taken them to the final of the FA Cup. Equally, he won the Carabao Cup, got a trophy under his belt in the first season. I think Erik ten Hag's really pushing in the right direction. This summer is massive, Manchester United, as I said before. And re-signing Marcus Rashford is the first step in that. Other than that, you've got to be looking at a striker for me. Manchester United are a proper number 9 away from really competing, in my opinion. Because, look, they played Martial there. Hasn't quite worked. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know there's a lot of Martial fans out there. Not a fan one bit. Not a fan one bit of Martial. And that's me being completely unbiased. When I talk about other football clubs not regarding Arsenal, I try and be as unbiased as possible. Those who have been around it before will probably know that. I'm not a fan of Anthony Martial one bit. I'm not a fan of Weghorst either. Weghorst is an okay plan B striker. He should never in a million years be starting for Manchester United. Never in a million years, right? He should be starting for lower level Premier League clubs. Look, Manchester United are the biggest club in England, right? With Liverpool second, Arsenal third. You got to start moving like a big club. You got to start going on the doorstep of Harry Kane and trying to get them over to the football club. So if I'm Manchester United, look at Harry Kane. Look at Victor Osimhen. Look at Kylian Mbappe if he wants to leave Paris Saint-Germain. These are the type of players you should be attracting to your football club. These are the type of personalities you need to come into the locker room that embodies the real Manchester United, the ones where they attract the biggest names. You know what I mean? I feel like Man United haven't done that enough recently. So, if you're Manchester United, a real number 9 you need to bring in. Because I'm a massive fan of Marcus Rashford, but he's not a number 9 for me. He does his best work on the left-hand side, off the left wing, cutting in and real dealing his damage from that particular side. So, you need a real number 9 to accompany Marcus Rashford. And I do genuinely think, despite how well Marcus Rashford has played this season, if you have a proper Harry Kane up there, or Victor Osimhen up there, you probably even get even more output out of Marcus Rashford, because right now, the whole of the defence, they're focused on Marcus Rashford for Manchester United. And they can afford to do so, because I'm not a fan of Anthony. I'm not a fan of Sancho. As I said, I'm not a fan of Anthony Martial or Weghorst either. Rashford's the only real threat for me up front. I mean, Garnacho I'm a big fan of as well, but he's too young and he occupies the left-hand side as well, which Rashford's already taken up. So a lot of the attention is being focused on Marcus Rashford because he is their best attacking player. So if you have someone else up front, even if it is Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, etc., it doesn't really matter who, as long as it's a big name. It will create even more of potential output for Marcus Rashford, because more of the attention will be focused on their striker. If you look past the striker, right, other positions that need to be addressed is the goalkeeper, man. I've had enough of David De Gea at Manchester United. I've had enough. He's got a mistake in him every time. I know some United fans will come out and say, oh, but he makes this worldie save every now and then. Look, as I've said a million times before, right, this is Manchester United. This isn't an Everton. This isn't a West Ham. This isn't like mid-level Premier League clubs where they can go, you know what, we know he'll make his mistake, but because he'll make a world-class save every now and then, we can afford to keep him. The way I look at it is, right, this is how Manchester United, this is how Arsenal, this is how all these teams should look. Would Man City have David De Gea in goal? No. So why are we having him in goal? Do you get what I mean? If he's not good enough to get in Man City's team, don't have him in your team. That's how I look at it, right? David De Gea with the ball at his feet is criminal. Absolutely criminal, man. And that's not good enough. Manchester United are a big enough club to afford to get a keeper that can do everything well. They shouldn't just get a keeper that's bad at one thing but good at another thing. No. Your goalkeeper should be able to do everything at a decent enough level. I'm not saying he has to be 10 out of 10 in everything. There's very few goalkeepers in the world that can do that. But at least be competent in every facet of being a goalkeeper, whether it is playing the ball out of your feet, whether it is playing, making world-class saves, maybe whether it is cutting out mistakes, reflexes, one-on-ones, penalty saving. Your goalkeeper should be able to do a bit of everything. Not David De Gea, who can make a worldie save every now and then, but equally, he'll let a ball through his legs, he'll struggle passing out the back, etc. Do you get what I mean? So, if I'm Manchester United, right, Marcus Rashford re-signing is step 1 of the puzzle. Step 2 and 3 is really good goalkeeper. I'm looking at Andre Onana, Mike Maignan, keepers like that. A world-class striker up front as well. And then a backup centre midfielder for me. Because the spine of Manchester United, I'm a real big fan of. I think, okay, Manus the goalkeeper. Your 2 centre-backs, Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane. Before their injuries, absolutely fantastic. I think they're one of the best partnerships in the league alongside Saliba and Gabriel. And of course, you've got Man City's partnerships as well, whoever they play. DM Casemiro, of course, he's getting on in age, but still solid defensive midfielder, real experience. It's no surprise and it's no coincidence that ever since he came into teams where Man United really started to kick on and start to put in performances week in, week out. I think their central midfielder could be replaced. I think whether it's Eriksen, Fred, McTominay, etc., whoever's in there, Sabitzer, not a massive fan, but Bruno Fernandes at that central attacking midfield position, quality, absolutely quality. I don't like his moaning, I don't like his personality, to be honest with you guys, but one thing I can't doubt about him is he knows how to play football. Like, his final ball is superb at times, man. His outlet is brilliant. Him and Marcus Rashford got that dynamic duo. And as I said, on our left-hand side, Marcus Rashford's fantastic as well. I think you got holes at right back, left back. I think you got holes at goalkeeper, holes at striker, holes in the centre mid position, and holes in the right wing position. But the spine of your team through the middle, really solid. And like I said, I know Man United won't spend an awful lot of money this summer, especially given the turbulence regarding the glazers, whether they're selling, whether they're not selling, etc. But you've got to bring in these right positions, because I genuinely think if Man United smash this summer transfer window out the park, I think they'll be the closest challengers to Man City next season. That's my genuine opinion on it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, whether you're a Man United fan or not a Man United fan. Let me know your thoughts on Man United next season. What players would you like to see Manchester United sign? Are you delighted with this Marcus Rashford contract extension news? He will be re-signing his contract at Manchester United for the coming seasons. As always, make sure you subscribe if you're on my road to 3,000 subscribers for daily football-related news. And drop a like down below if this video gets out to more people in the algorithm. I've been White Football and I hope to see you all in my next one. Take care.